Up next in today's mail call, we've got some pretty unique jig options from my good buddy Derek Wirtz. Derek and I have fished a little bit back at home in Southern California. Man, going back a decade. Introduced him to some big bait stuff, but he's since moved to Canyon Lake and started making his own unique jigs. Now he wanted to create something a little bit different and unique. He's got this really unique dimpled head here, kind of an archy style head. He's got a pretty supple silicone skirt material. It's kind of finessey. It's not all bulky like standard silicone skirts are. All hand tied, no rotting bands. They've got the twist on hook keeper on the shank of the hook to hook your trailers on. Man, we gotta put a TK crawler on that bad boy. Now we've got a TK twister here from our last mail call out of Japan. This particular jig has a pretty unique hook keeper system on there. It's got that coiled spring on there that's been really popular with the weedless swim bait hooks lately. So you always kind of want to eyeball and gauge where you want that plastic to sit. So I wanted to come out kind of where those 3 dots are, or those 3 flakes. So you begin pushing it in. Nice smooth motion. You want to push it up the hook shank, and then you want to twist it on, and then you want to just take your trailer here and twist it on and around that hook keeper and feed it up that line, or feed it up that hook shank. And then voila. That's a pretty cool looking profile. That's gonna hold that bait securely in place, so even if those, especially if you're fishing smallmouth or spot lakes where they'll kind of punch the jig and you'll swing, there's nothing there, that'll keep your trailer in place and fishable and give you another shot at the follow-up bite. Pretty cool. I like that. He's also got another archy style jig here, kind of a traditional archy style head, real versatile style. It's a real versatile jig head. Great for flipping, pitching, and even casting applications, but it comes through cover really well. Once again, hand-tied skirts, and he's got the single keeper system here. A little bit smaller profile, real finesse. Awesome jig. And as you guys see, he's got quite a nice little selection of colors here. Green pumpkins, got a little chartreuse for dirty water, purple, black and red. This is that jig head's a little bit different too. It's got some texture to it, it's got some dimples, nice broad face. That should help come up and over contact really nicely. Sweet jigs, Derek. Double keeper system on that. Hand-tied skirts. These are going to be fun to toss around up here in Northern California. He's also got a shaky head for you shaky head fans. Flat face. His signature dimpled and textured finish. Spring lock here to secure your baits and your plastics. Sits upright, pretty cool. That's gonna help give you that nice rocking motion when you're working the bait. Hey, look at that. So give him a shout. Deeks Jigs, you can find him on Instagram, you can find him on Facebook, and you can contact him directly through his website. Appreciate you, Derek. All right, now, oh, you know what? Also new from Hog Farmer Bait Company is his Epitome spinnerbait. Check out that sweet purple shad looking color. Now, growing up in Southern California, we didn't have a lot of water that was really conducive to fishing spinnerbaits. Most of our lakes are clear and rocky. I'd have to drive all the way up to the Central Coast and fish places like Santa Margarita or Lake Lopez where I could find some off-colored water. And for me, having brush and wood in the water makes for a really fun and productive spinnerbait bite. But he's got a pretty unique design here. High quality hook, good wire, interesting little eyeball attachment here to really help sell that illusion of a second bait fish. That's a good idea. The spinnerbait was the original small bait fish school imitation. I mean, they just took it to a whole nother level with the Alabama rig. But really, it's the same concept. And in this particular case, you know, you're simulating 2 bait fish instead of 21. So adding an eyeball in front of the willow leaf blade was kind of a cool idea. Once again, a little flat chin should help this Epitome spinnerbait come through the brush and the cover and the rocks really well. Big keeper system for your trailers if you're fishing a trailer. All right, let's get into the meat of this mail call here. For those of you guys that have been following the channel and the mail call videos from Megabass of Japan and Megabass of America, know that we've been considering carrying a lot of the hard to find Japanese only items through the website at Big Bass Streams. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to help support a store that supported us. And that's the Hookup Tackle out of Arizona. Band Collar has been nothing but awesome to us. So it makes a lot of sense for us to show the Hookup Tackle as the valuable resource that they are. One of the things I love about this shop is they carry so many high-end niche items that you cannot find anywhere else. And as you guys can see from this spread here, we've got several different options from Decoy, which is a high-end terminal tackle brand out of Japan. We've got hard to find items from Sunline, like this 30-pound shooter fluorocarbon. People are always asking me, where are you getting 30-pound fluorocarbon from? Well, there you go. So actually, let's just jump right into it. This is one of the few options that are available on the market right now in 30-pound for a true fluorocarbon line. Now, when we're fishing big baits over 4 ounces, 6 ounces, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, I like having a little bit more margin for error. You know, when we're fishing out there, long hours, heavy baits, heavy cover, I want a line that's super tough. And that's exactly what this shooter is. This is a super hard, resilient 30-pound fluorocarbon that can just take a lot of abuse. It's got minimal stretch. You'll be able to really feel your bait coming through that rocky bottom, through the timber, flooded brush, you name it. Now you guys know where to get it. Comes in 110 yards. That's why we like using backing on those bigger Conquest 400s. We only fill up our spools on our reels 10 to 20 yards past a very long cast. High quality line here, guys. And although a fluorocarbon line like this shooter is initially more expensive than mono, I find myself changing it out a lot less. There are reels that have an entire season on them. You can't say the same for monofilament. It just ages and wears too quickly. But that super hard coating and the chemical makeup of this fluorocarbon line holds up to punishment much better than your traditional monofilament lines. Sunline Power Special, right up our alley. All right, next up, we've got a very unique jig head option from Owner Hooks. This is the Owner pivot head. They've got a really unique shaped ultra head here that's separated from the hook with one of their owner hyperwire split rings. Now we've been fishing spark shads from Megabass on various heads. Traditional football style jig heads. Those of you guys that like fishing swim jigs are gonna like this option here. That unique style head's gonna give that bait a little bit more of a wobble. It's a little off balance. And the fact that it's attached to a big weedless hook is gonna make it very fishable. Now you can weedless rig your soft plastic swim baits like a 5-inch spark shad and swim it through cover, slow roll it over scattered rock bottoms. Give that bait a little bit different action because of that disconnected jig head. That bait's gonna kind of follow along behind it. That's a new item for us here. Excited to see what this thing does. Lots of applications. This 3/4 ounce option is going to be nice for fishing deeper water. Long tapering points, rocky bottom, smallmouth water, western reservoirs for spots and largemouth. Then we've got a 3/8 ounce, a little bit lighter. I could see myself swimming this thing in shallow vegetation, shallow brush, places like the Delta, where I'm fishing less than 10 feet of water. And they come in all those different sizes there. 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 3/8, 3/0 hooks, 4/0 hooks, and apparently they got straight hook options as well. So if you want that exposed hook, you can have it. Pretty cool item, pivot head. A little bit different way to rig your baits. All right, let's jump into some of this decoy stuff here. Those of you guys that like fishing the small hazedong shad may be wondering which hook we're fishing it on. This is a small bait. This is a 2.8 inch bait. Not a lot of hooks work well on it. But this twist lock finesse is perfect for these baits. They've got a micro twist lock hook here. You just insert it kind of in the underside of the chin. Rotate the head of the bait in. Oh. It'll perfectly center that bait just about every time. Take your bait, lay it straight. That'll show you where the entry point for the hook should be. Straight out the top, and voila. By far my favorite hook for fishing this thing on a slip shot rig or a split shot rig. Keeps the bait super true, super lightweight hook so it doesn't bog the bait down. It's a great way to present pretty much a fly line style bait in a variety of zones. Check it out. Number 2 hook is perfect for this 2.8 inch hazedong shad. For those of you guys that are fishing V9s and the Power Bomb and other spinner baits, are gonna like this Decoy trailer hook. And what I like most about this brand is their high attention to detail. You don't need a giant 3 or 4/0 stinger hook for spinner baits. This is a size 2.0. It's a smaller profile. Fits beautifully on the back of a spinner bait. That's all you need. They've got these nifty hook keepers, a little bit of an oval shaped eye to help. Makes it easier to thread onto the main hook. And all you got to do is push that keeper tube over the eye, and you always want to keep that penetrating hole as small as possible. And voila, just like that, you're in the game. Those of you guys that are fishing for money or just want to catch those short biters, that is by far my favorite trailer hook system for spinner baits. Also consider that Chaser 2 hook for buzz baits and even chatterbaits in some instances. We also use it on some of the smaller swim baits, but don't tell anybody. Now I get bombarded with questions about the snaps that we fish. This is the only snap that I trust. and this is the Decoy Egg Snap. These are the smaller versions, number 1, number 2, and number 3. They're rated for 30, 60, and 70 pounds respectively. Now these number 1s are the smallest ones that they make. This is what I'm using for the smallest hard baits. Another question we get about modifying hard body swim baits like an eye slide or even like a big jerk bait like a Canada is how we get those baits down a little bit deeper. And here's one of my closely held secrets for quite a while now. And this is made by Zappo. And it's a screw-on style ball weight that attaches directly to the treble hook. And this is the heaviest model. This is 2.2 grams. It might not seem like much, but by the time you add one of these on each hook, now you got 4.4 grams. A lot of these baits are so finely attuned that just that little bit of an adjustment is gonna be able to get that bait to sink down into the zone that you're trying to target, whatever that might be. And there's 4 different sizes here. So you can really get fine-tuned with it. 1.9 grams, 1.5 grams, 1.1 grams. Yeah, if you haven't already, give these a shot. And you also got the old standby. When you need a lot more weight, there are times when I want to weigh down the iSlide 262. I use up to 6 to 8 of these things on a 262 when I really want it to get down. Between that, the 30-pound fluorocarbon line, which is denser, which has got more density than monofilament. The combination of all those little adjustments ends up in my bait getting 5 to 10 feet down deeper into the zone than if I fished it stock on monofilament. Little adjustments, guys. It's everything. And we're gonna wrap this mail call up here with one of my favorite hard bait hooks. And this is the Quad, the infamous Quattro by Decoy. And if those of you guys that are not familiar with this hook, go back and watch a lot of our swim bait videos. This is the hook that's responsible for a lot of those fish catches. It surprises me that there are still quite a few people that don't even know about the existence of this hook and how utterly effective it can be. So right off the bat, the main difference is it's got an extra shank. Instead of a treble hook, now you've got 4 points, 4 shanks, one mean hook. Super sharp points, super strong steel, pretty tough to bend these out. And unfortunately, the biggest size that they come in is a 1/0, but we've used the 1/0 successfully on baits up to 11 inches. Baits like the Hinkle shad, baits like the Hinkle trout, iSlide 262. These number 1s are perfect on an iSlide 185. Super sticky, super sharp. We've grown very confident fishing this particular hook on our bigger baits. But anyway, we're gonna get all this stuff organized, put it in the boat, and try to get out on the water today. Hopefully you guys continue to find value in these unboxing videos. Give you guys a little bit more insight into what we're ordering and how we're applying them. And now you guys know where to get them. Support these guys at the Hookup. They're good people, and frankly, they support us. And they help us keep this train going. We appreciate you guys watching, appreciate the feedback, appreciate the engagement. Keep the questions rolling. You can find links for all of these items in the description below. And if you guys want to order a king shad, we'll leave Kevin's contact info as well. Ouch! ST36s. Caught thousands of swimbait fish on that hook. Just caught myself. And don't forget, we got a video dropping every day at 5 o'clock. Make sure you turn on the notifications, click on that little bell icon, and subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys on the water. Peace!